welcome to HornetCast episode 11. We are very excited to be here today to feature one mini master called Mission Control, or how to run a school, particularly how can we make CAG better with our high school students. So today we will have a number of groups that will be proposing their plans on how they would like to make CAG even better than it already is. Go Hornets!
So we are here today to talk about mental health and the relationships between students and teachers at CAG.
Ya, para este issue encontramos como muchas soluciones, pero la primera sería mindfulness. Mindfulness es un type de meditation que se basa en sí identificar like, cómo te sientes, how your body is feeling, lo que has sentido y tu alrededor. So se puede based on your breathings y it's based también en silence. So something we thought que podría funcionar bastante for school is that like classes after lunch or break or whatever recess, siempre vienen like overstimulated todos los estudiantes. So we thought that maybe for those classes, we could take 5 minutes of silence, teachers and students silent, and just thinking and meditating of like qué han hecho hoy, cómo se sienten, like para que se puedan como regulate sus feelings para la clase, porque cosa que hemos notado es que normalmente las clases los profesores pasan los primeros 5 minutos, like, guys, por favor, paren bola, como que presten atención, siéntese, no estén hablando con sus amigos, and se pierde tiempo ahí de studying, entonces se puede usar esos 5 minutos más bien para, you know, get ready for class, exactly.
Yo les quiero contar sobre mi math proposal y esto pasó todo un problema que hemos cambiado de profesor de matemáticas y yo hasta he escuchado a un compañero decir que aprender temas nuevos en matemáticas is like learning a new language. Uh-huh. Cuando se va a introducir un tema nuevo a la clase de matemáticas, el profesor puede explicar el tema, puede contestar preguntas y van a ser máximo 2 ejemplos mientras la clase está interactuando. Después, 2 estudiantes individualmente enfrente de la clase se toman su turno y explican una pregunta a cada quien. Y después de eso, se van a dividir entre pares, grupos, individualmente, como sea que el profesor prefiere trabajar o los estudiantes. Y de ahí en adelante trabajan ellos mismos en sus worksheets. Y esto vino de que it was proven que once 4 worked out examples with the class engaged, o sea, that's the perfect amount para que ya los estudiantes puedan ser más independientes y que ya puedan trabajar ellos en sus worksheets. Y esto es como un laboratorio en el sentido de que you're having 3 different teachers.
La iniciativa y el liderazgo de los estudiantes al dar clases ellos también. Porque that way tal vez otros estudiantes entenderán más y también pueden llegar más a los results de responsibility que queremos, porque de esa manera un estudiante no solo es responsable de su work, pero el del resto de sus estudiantes. Like,
so they often say, if you can teach something, you know it. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's the best assessment, the best test, is if you can teach it, then you've shown that you know it, right? So if the students are teaching the concept, the teacher can just observe them teaching the concept and then...
And that'd be the grade.
That's your grade, yeah.
I agree.
You're competent, you've showed mastery, and maybe what you're saying is students might be more motivated to hear the instruction from their peers at times. And you were saying 3 teachers.
Yeah.
So different people explain things in a different way. One thing might click for certain students,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Así que cuando uno aprende a aprender, uno de verdad sí puede usar las cosas que te enseñan en las clases y aplicarlas en tu día a día o aplicarlas como en entender qué estás haciendo, porque cuando solo te memorizas los pasos y no aprendes los pasos no sirve de nada, ya que de verdad tú no puedes aplicar eso en un examen, digamos, en los exámenes que te ponen no te sirven de nada solo memorizártelos y no sabes cómo hacerlo.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes they give too much time for a very small work or too little time for a big work.
Yeah.
So I think we just need to find the balance as teachers and students.
Uh-huh, yeah. I've seen that in some classes that I walk into is that a lot of students are done and they say, oh, I'm already done. And they're doing like whatever on their computer.
But I think that is better because like at least you are done. Like
But shouldn't you always have something to work on when we talk about learning? It's not about turning in work, it's about learning. Shouldn't you always have something to learn?
Yeah.
Like, and shouldn't you maybe have, like this week, you four chose a project that you were passionate about that meant a lot to you, and it's saying a lot that the project is about your learning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I also think it comes down to what we talked the other day about the transaction between students and teachers. That I think that happens when like learning comes down just to the assignment, which I don't think it should be like that, because like it happens that students just do a work and they just expect the teacher just to give a grade, and it comes down to that, and it shouldn't be like that, because we learn not only like actually doing an assignment, we can learn just like watching a video or something else.
Yeah.
So I think we should like expand more on that.
on what learning is. So have you ever done this before? I might have done this when I was in high school, where I go to the teacher and say, what do I need to do to get an A? Just tell me what to do to get an A.
Yeah.
So it's like that transaction where, okay, I do this and that, and then
You
I
give
give
me-
you that,
Exactly.
and then you give me an A, right? And but
Exactly.
but I wasn't really learning a whole lot. I was just learning
No.
what I needed to do for that teacher to get that grade. But then today, now that I'm old, I don't remember some of those classes. I don't remember anything, right? So focused on the learning more
Than
and
the
what that
actual-
means.
Yeah, assignment.
It's
or...
definitely still the same. Yeah.
So even that I'm really old, it's still the same. Still the same.
Yeah.
It's
It's
transactional.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, some things never change, I guess. But we could change them.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
You
what we
four
want.
could change them.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go Hornets.
Yeah.
Should we say let's go Hornets on the count of three? One,
Yeah.
2, 3.
Let's go Hornets!
My project is I made a unit for the AP Literature class, and I developed assessments, formative assignments, and a summative assignment at the end, as well as some selected literature to go along with the theme of the unit and to develop it further.
Okay, Max, I just have to ask, why, out of all the projects in the world that you could have chosen, did you choose this as your project?
All right, so that's a pretty good question. The reason I chose this project is that, like, I love English. English is my favorite subject by far, and I really do like. I just kind of like talking about literature and like what it means and how we can apply that to our own life. And AP Lit was one of my favorite classes because that's what it's about, right? And I structured my unit very closely to how we do it in class. You know, we have the name of the unit, its inquiry question, and we have the text that we can kind of derive the meaning from them and connect them to the unit and our lives.
Have you shared your unit with your teacher?
No.
yet.
I've only done it with this class. I'll tell her about it.
Do you think your
shortly.
teacher will like it?
Yeah, I put a lot of. I even read like some poems that I had not read before just for this
Okay.
mini master. Yeah. The reason why AP Lit is so important and just literature in general is that you can derive lessons from what you read and you can apply it to your own life to try to create a more meaningful life, which is one of the units we had this year. I feel like delving into literature will enrich anybody's life who tries, and I think it's a very important part of not only being a student but being a human, because the reason why humanity is the apex species in our planet, right? We're number one, we're top dogs, right? We dominate this planet.
We're not humble about it either.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. The reason why we are the number one species on the planet is our ability to build community, right? It's the ability to learn from the other guy's experience and learn it and apply it to our own. Is to learn from each other's past and put it together to make a future in unison. And I think that's beautiful. And it's the reason why we are here right now. And I think this unit that I have created, while it may be grim for the vast majority of it, and it teaches us about the darker aspects of human experience, I think sometimes you find the brightest light in the deepest, darkest shadow. Right?
Wow. Profound
Yeah.
philosopher.
Okay, there's a quote for you.
That's pretty awesome. Now, with this mini master that you did, Mission Control, you had the chance yesterday to do a presentation. You want to tell Borderland about your presentation?
Yeah, we should talk about it. Okay, so part of our mini method, which I'm very thankful I got to be a part of this presenting group, we managed to get access to some of the financial plans and structures of the American School of Guatemala, learn about them, and present it to the Junta Directiva in UVG. And I think this was probably my favorite part of the mini master. Well, yes, it was very stressful, I will admit. Like, I saw all of the people in the room and I was like, oh man, like they probably know a lot more about this than I do. But I think that like looking at this and kind of seeing how the school operates, like how it actually operates, like inside out, I think it gives you a lot more appreciation for the people behind the scenes, right? Like I see all of the transactions, they have to do their investments, you have to keep competitive salaries, you have to do background checks on all the teachers, and you just really start to appreciate the work that everybody here does when you start to see like how grimy it is.
Awesome.
Right?
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. And you did a great job presenting. It was
thank you.
very, very well done.
Thank you very much.
Today we come with a fulfillment proposal to empower independent athletes as a CAG success plan that can happen, precisely in the future or the most currently possible. This presentation will outline a plan for CAG on how they can help non-school related athletes, for example, a sport like golf that doesn't happen in CAG, and we aim to foster their talent and get the best potential that they have to promote their true talent and let the world know where did they come from and where did they form.
There are many talented athletes outside the school and their systems. They really don't have that many resources to train.
The reason we think that CAG should support is because it can bring benefits not only to the school but also to the athlete. Like, for example, one of the troubles I have is that since I do motocross, I know that motocross is not a school sport and it's very difficult to incorporate it into a school. But the school can also facilitate stuff for the athlete. For example, with golf, like I know Ale has had troubles with absences during tournaments. Andres also with going to some races which are far away. We've also seen it with, now not really, because now the school is associated with the tennis federation for ASCA Tennis, but before, like tennis players, when they had a tournament, they also had trouble with absences and getting up to date with work.
What is the policy if you go to an ASCA tournament for your schoolwork
Then
and
you have to
academics?
So if you go to an ASCA tournament, what happens is that an ASCA is a school affiliated travel.
Right, okay.
Yes.
So what happens is that teachers are obligated to give you at least
Twice the time.
twice the time that they, for example, if I have a due date of a Tuesday
Uh-huh,
and I leave for ASCA on Wednesday,
uh-huh.
they are obligated to give me at least to Friday to finish my work.
So they give you 2 days for every day you miss, or they just give you additional days
2
to turn it
days.
in?
With
2 days.
for every
with
day you miss.
Okay.
with an excused absence, if you miss 2 days, you get 4 days to turn it in.
Okay, okay.
For example.
And what you guys are saying is that when you're involved in your individual sports, you don't get that necessarily.
We don't get the
Unless you
excused
have a
absence.
note from the federation
Uh-huh.
or something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Which as we said, it's sometimes complicated to get.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes, let's say, there's many athletes that need it, and the federation cannot support everyone with the card on time.
Sure. Sure.
Yes, so that's like an issue that the school can solve.
How would they solve it? What would be your
Like,
solution?
By
Understand
like asking
the-
parents or
Yes, or talk to the parents of the student and understand if they're going out racing, or like just ask them like to send a photo of where they are and like
Or also like sending the dates and saying like, look, this weekend we have a race, for example, in Petén, which you have to, of course, leave early, and say like, look, he's got to leave early and he's also got to train. So like, also like proof of evidence with stuff like that, like having the calendar of when he has races so that he might skip school because he's going to go train. So
Yeah.
like,
Uh-huh.
or tournaments also.
Yeah, so let's do a little brainstorming here. We have 1,827 students at CAG. How many of those students, starting with pre-K, do you think are involved in doing some type of activity outside of school where this would apply to them?
I think a lot.
yes,
Mostly all
from
Mostly
25
all
to
of them?
50%.
yes, and
Of the little kids too, or
yes.
Like of the whole school.
so what do they do? What are some of tell me some of the activities
Like-
that they're
I know
involved in?
I know maybe the most prominent is karate and tennis.
Or tennis, yes.
Karate,
because, like,
tennis.
when I was
MMA.
young, a lot of people used
MMA.
to play tennis, and I
Yeah.
still see like it's like the first sport people try, like as a kid,
Uh-huh.
tennis or soccer. It's
What other sports do
Pretty
kids do?
In lower school, they mostly do karate, and yeah,
What about dance? I've heard
Yes,
dance
also
competitions.
dance. Yeah, girls
girls
dance.
do dance and they go
Horse
to
horse
tournaments for
competitions
weeks.
also.
Ah,
That's
equestrian.
another
Yes.
Equestrian.
top
Another
another
big sport.
sport which we also know that has troubles. I know, for example, Miguel Sarabia last week he had an international competition and he also had trouble with getting the absences approved.
Another thing is that maybe the students also have to like call that in advance, like say, hey, my son or I am going to go to a tournament and so can you please record your classrooms and then send me like send me the videos, and then people can like grab all the important things and an AI can like sort it out so that it's not as long as the actual classroom of 1 hour and 30 minutes or
Yes.
give or take.
Gotcha. So the AI just kind of selects the parts
Like
that are most
it
important.
compresses it into a lot of important details, but it takes out like all the time the teacher spends telling the students, okay, do this, but do not do that, or the time it's taking 101's revisions.
What takes more time? The teacher doing it the way they're doing it now, where they give you the makeup work and talk to you about what you're missing, or this other solution that you're giving us?
This solution will take less time because it only grabs the lesson from the teacher.
What does the teacher have to do? That's what I'm talking about, the teacher's time.
I mean,
What
teacher's
takes
time-
more time or less time?
It takes less time with our solution because it is something that is being recorded during that moment. And for example, let's say maybe this could be posted directly to Classroom, like
To
the
Google
lesson.
Classroom?
Yeah.
You record it with Google
Yes.
Classroom and post it to Google.
directly.
Yes,
So
because
it would just be the
Yes.
teacher clicking the button and that's it?
yes.
Clicking two buttons.
Yeah,
Okay.
because she's teaching
start
her
and a stop
regular
form.
Start, a
class.
stop, and a submit.
Okay,
Yes, because it's her regular class. She
Because
doesn't have to change anything.
then
excellent.
Yes.
Anything else, gentlemen?
I think we're done.
I think you guys need to say go Hornets though, so we can see if you really have that school spirit enough to where we would support your plan.
All right.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Go Hornets!
Oh, that's pretty good.
We want to present the project that we called the mental game. We wanted to focus instead of more on the physical part or where they can train, more on how the mental state of the athlete can work. So that is how idea started. And also we talked about you earlier that we wanted to get a psychologist first. That was our first idea, to get a psychologist that will treat each student with their mental problems. But we figured out that the best idea we could make is that the team, as a team, they made a commitment so they can make better decisions in parties or outside the school.
Okay, so what would that process look like? How would you do that?
Every team should be committed to do things that are not harmful for them. Like, for example, they should not be drinking alcohol or smoking. And so if they have a commitment, they like the whole team would not like to stop taking good decisions because they are going to like stop following that commitment they all made, and so it will be stronger.
So the team supports each other in their commitment.
Yes.
So you talked about some commitment about some health things, but what other commitments could be part of that contract?
Like training, like for example, not missing trainings because they're pretty important. Like to
No
decide the
missing
tactics.
practice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also like deciding like the lineups they are going to use like in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of team do you think would have success and win an Oscar tournament? What would be their qualities that they would have?
Well, maybe
First of all, they should be very good in teamwork. They need to be good with each other, and so this will let them be better at the courts and play better.
Also have leaders, like for example, to guide the team to success, and also like to not stop the commitment.
If you have that leadership on the team, then maybe the leaders of the team, the captains, can organize some team activities where you
Yeah.
go bowling together or you do something on the weekend.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Yeah, like
The last Oscar soccer championship was
in 2017.
2002. 2002. So are you guys going to be the next one?
We hope so.
Our project
You got a few
is that
years
we
to
will
get
win-
ready.
We will win by
Yes.
2027. That's what.
Okay, that's your goal of this
Yeah,
proposal.
our goal is to win
Yeah.
by 2027.
Okay, all right. Well, we better hear "Go Hornets" from you guys then on the count 3. 1, 2, 3.
Go Hornets!